All right, so page layout this week, we are going to be doing this project, which I don't know why it's not popping up here. And it's a pretty straightforward. So the skills that you've already learned to date is going to be what we're going to be focusing on this project. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. It'll be due the beginning of not this next week, but the week after, because we'll start moving into the next project right away, just because that one takes a little bit more time. Oh, that's definitely not it. Oh, I wonder if it's recovering some of these guys. My computer shut down the other day on its own, so it could be something that's just not. It's giving me such a hard time today. Project 1. Sorry about this. There we go. Well, I think I opened it a couple of times, so just not being patient today. Alright, we got it. I always try and get it as big as I can for you guys, just I know you're working off your phones. But you guys can download this, just obviously ignore the assignment dates. I don't always change them because, well, everything got changed, so. What are we at here? 7:15 today, right? And then this is going to be due beginning of class. Look at my phone here for a second and just make sure the right date. The beginning of the 29th. We're rolling into the end of the semester here.
Oh.
Okay, so the objective of this project is to try and get you guys to work a little bit more with layout and working with hierarchy, right? And values of shapes and objects and information. So I've given you pretty rigid kind of requirements just to see what you guys can do with this. Part of design always is to make sure that you guys have a really good understanding of elements. And even though there's like 6 elements to this, I want you guys to start thinking about how do you place information onto a page and organize it in a way that's going to allow for you to have a really good flow and a really good hierarchy within each of the pieces that you're designing. So bringing this all together and obviously then putting together a mechanical, teaching you how to do the crop marks with printing. Now most of you are also taking production, so sometimes with this project it's the first time that we've done a production piece. So obviously some of your skills that you're learning in production are going to cross over into this class. The text and headline are up to you. You can pick whatever you'd like. And you do have to have at least 1 or 2 lines of copy within the design. The body copy is going to be no bigger than 11-point type. You can choose the font that you want, and you're also looking at using a column format for this ad. So you are going to be determining that, right? So now that I've given you 2 projects where we've worked with using grid, I want you to figure out what's just going to be the best option and then use that. And it could just be a simple 2-column, right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And then I want you to work with that text within the 1-column format. But you're going to be able to just have just a quick little, maybe it's a description or maybe it's just a support line of text that's going to be part of that. The headline should not be more than 7 words. So you want to make sure that you have a really good short headline. 3 to 4 is best, but 7 would be my max. Photos, you're going to need to be sized for the layout, and you're going to actually pick an image today. I'm going to have you choose one, and then you can use other images within your design, but that will be the one that you're going to be working off of. To come up with what you want to do for this ad. Don't forget you can silhouette, which means that you can remove backgrounds or you can remove pieces and parts of this image that you're going to choose, but we still need to have like what the concept of the image is. Like if you take it all apart and it still is not reading what we originally had for the image, then it kind of loses its power. So we want to make sure that we've got some of that. You can obviously crop, so if you don't want to use the whole image, you can, but you can just choose to use part of it. So basically, you're going to be choosing a company to design the ad for. You're going to pretend that they provided this image for you. So you want to make sure you can build the concept with that supplied image for the company that you choose. I would definitely choose a larger company because you are going to be required to download their logo as a EPS vector format. And I've given you a couple different websites to go to find those. And the logo should not be used any larger than 2.5 inches in width. And that, that can be a little variable because sometimes there's very long logos. So you just want to make sure that it's going to fit within that space. My goal of this is I don't want you to have something that's huge, right? Looking at the hierarchy of your design, your logo should not be the first thing that we see unless it's also on the product, right? But I'm giving you an image to work with to build the concept around, so we're probably not going to see too many things that are going to have product on it. The following websites that I've given you here will let you go in and look for an EPS version, which is a vector version that comes out of Illustrator. So you're gonna, it's best to find one that already is in there. Otherwise, you would have to recreate it, and it would have to be perfect because this would be for their particular company. If you were going to recreate something, they wouldn't accept it unless it was absolute. All right. Obviously, we'll be executing this in InDesign. Everything has to be done in InDesign. For the final, that doesn't mean to say we won't be using Photoshop or Illustrator to do any manipulations to other things to get it to InDesign for the final. I'd like you to work with curved text. I put this in here on how you handle text to do type on a path, but sometimes it doesn't always work with the ad, and I don't want to force it. If it's not working, let me know, and we can adjust for that, okay? If we can get it to work, even if it's just like a little thing next to the logo and you're going to do a call to action, I want you to also do that in here too. Add the website for the company so that way people can go and see what they're doing or see what they're connecting with. Or even, go to our Facebook page, whatever. That's something that we can work on too. So obviously, you guys this week have to do some research and you have to do some sketches and figure out, where you want to take this. The sketches can be electronic. I'm not going to force you to do hand sketches on this if you don't want to, but, you definitely want to make sure that you've got all your information in there. And I'm just going to throw this in here too. Include call to action. And I'll email this sheet to you guys if you haven't downloaded it yet. Does anybody have any questions? Abby, I'd be quiet, honey. I'm sorry. My granddaughter just woke up. She slept in today, too. Alright, so that's your call to action. Anybody have questions other than Christian? I want to respond to him. He's got his chat open. I don't know if you guys were able to see what he's writing.
Oh.
Alright, so let's go ahead and pop out to, I'm going to go to Seek Logo first. Brands in the World has been good in the past, but Seek Logo has been much better for me to find these logos. So let's pop into Seek Logo just to kind of show you how this works. And basically, when you're searching for a company, you definitely want to be able to find something that's going to work. You can see they carry a lot of different brands. So let's just say, for instance, we wanted to do an ad for, I don't know, the MoMA, the museum, the MoMA, and I can type in MoMA, and I'm going to get not only just logos, but I'm going to also get pictures sometimes, not always, but this allows for you to be able to kind of, see what works, see what doesn't work, and right away I get the Museum of Modern Art logo, right? So this is the correct one. Now these are different MoMAs. There's other MoMAs in the world, so you'd have to go to their website if you weren't really sure what logo it was that I was searching for. But I've seen this one enough times to know. And so this is the final MoMA. So I'd want to make sure that I found this. And then you want to be careful not to click on all these other buttons, right? So sometimes the download can be hidden. Like this is a sponsored link. It is not the download that you want. So you want to make sure that you have the right one. And usually it's a blue button in Seek logo, but sometimes they change it up a little bit. So you just have to make sure that you're looking for the right one because this could get really confusing. So download vector is the one that I want, and I'm just going to click on that, and it will automatically download for me. So that way I don't have to worry about it. I'm in Chrome, so it pops down right here, and I can just put that right on my desktop. Now, if you were looking for, let's say, Microsoft. I don't want that. I want just their logo. This is going to give you the Microsoft logo, right? Now, there are a number of different Microsoft logos, as you can see. So you would just want to make sure that you're getting the correct one or the one that you want to use for your project. And you want to make sure that it is an EPS format, which it will tell you right down here. Now, you can also do an AI format if you want to. That's also acceptable. That's like a newer version of an EPS, right? So that's definitely... Why is this doing this? I don't know what that means. So this allows for you to kind of see the gamut, right? So if you wanted to do something with an XP logo, or just do regular Microsoft with their colored squares, or if you just needed the black and white version of Microsoft. So, there's going to be a lot of different options, and just make sure you're choosing the one that is the correct one, right? Okay, you can't, so, Christian's so funny. Wait till you get, okay. So this just allows for you to choose whatever it is that you want that you're looking for. Now the other one too, Brands of the World. Does a really good job too, but sometimes the logos might be old. So let's just say I'm going to do a search for Kodak. Let's just say I'm going to pick Kodak. So you have to be careful because sometimes you'll get old logos in here. Like this is no longer their acceptable logo. They don't use this anymore. But it's here because it's part of who Kodak is. So, they do include it, but you do want to make sure that you're picking the one that is the most recent one. So this is the most recent Kodak logo. This is also acceptable too. So just make sure that you're verifying it. And this also has a page too, which might have some of the other older logos on it. No, these are all pretty accurate actually. This is an old one. So, just make sure you're verifying. Go to the website and just double check that the logo that you chose is the one that they're using today. Right? So that's an easy fix. You can always check it out, make sure. But the cool thing is that this is going to allow you to be able to pick this up and get a good version, a clean version that you'll be able to download. So this Kodak logo, this one was new in 2007. This is actually kind of cool because it gives you a little bit of background about who designed it. and it may not have been the one person that actually designed it from the beginning, but this one is the new logo, so it's kind of cool. And it gives you a little bit of whatever you agree to download the artwork, and then we're using it for educational purposes, so that's fine, and then it'll let you download. So this is an AI file, which is perfect. So if you don't have an EPS, the AI file is just as good. It's just a newer way of doing it. All right, so this is pretty simple, straightforward website to use. And then your last one that I suggested was free-logotypes.com. And I don't use this one as much, but maybe it's not even available anymore. Oh, it also helps if I spell the word correctly. Let's see if that changes things. Thank you. Hold on a second, I just need to talk to my grandmother right here. Do you want breakfast?
They wanted you.
Oh,
They both catch the at the same time, so.
Perfect, thank you. I already gave them breakfast, so you should be good there.
They haven't eaten any of their breakfast yet.
Oh, this is asking me to do too many things here today. I don't know what this is doing. I wouldn't even bother if you can't find it on the other two. I would say just don't bother with that one unless you're not using Chrome. I don't know what they're asking for, and I don't want to add anything to my computer today. That's just asking for a virus. So just stick with the two top two brands in the world, Seek logo, and you'll pretty much find every national brand that's out there. Okay, so how do you come up with a concept? The idea is that I'm going to give you a selection of photographs that you're going to look at, but I need to find my folder. So if you guys want to do some research on the Pinterest board, give me 5 minutes to go get that folder so I can pull them up, so I can show you, and then that way we can select from those. So everybody has to pick a different image. Nobody's using the same one. And I've got about 12 or 13 images to choose from, so there should be enough there for you guys to pick. So I'm just going to put you guys on mute for a minute while I search, and go ahead and put some pins on the board. So take a look and see if you can find some really cool advertisements that you think are interesting, different, unique, grab your attention, maybe has a cool headline, that kind of stuff. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right. So what's going on, Ed? Do you want to? I thought maybe you just had cereal this morning. Yes.
Yes, and the fudge.
Okay. All right. I gotta find this folder first. So you went back to sleep too, huh? This morning you fell back asleep.
I'm tired. Tired.
Me too.
Me and Grandpa went down after you left and you stayed home with something.
Yeah.
And then we went.
Okay.
Then me and Grandpa went down and we saw Zoe.
And what are we supposed to be doing?
Oh, that's
Hello? Hello?
Brandon,
Brandon.
you you're supposed to be putting pins on the Pinterest board that I sent to share with you.
Okay, so kind of asleep.
You're killing me today.
I'm sorry.
Yes, get on the Pinterest board and add some examples of some ads. Okay. Good morning, Don. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm connecting everyone to one board, but I didn't know what your picture was.
I'm sorry. Where is it?
Do you have two little kids on your picture? Is it Dawn Mitchell, 1981?
No. Mine is Dawn Mitchell. Let me see what mine says. Oh, it's opened.
I don't think that's her. Maybe that's one. Because there's a lot of Dawn Mitchells, so.
Rachel's?
Excuse me, keep getting it, but I think go on for me.
That's it.
Oh, you know what? It's famous photo 2012.
There you go. That would be why I can't find you.
Sorry, famous photo 2012.
Is it famous or fabulous?
Fabulous photo 2012. And it's got a picture of me and my mom and sister and daughter. Oh, it says Dawn Mitchell though. Oh, but the address is Fabulous Photo 2012. But just say Dawn Mitchell.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not connected to you, so now I am, and we can add you to the board.
Okay.
Let's go back here. So we're all going to put this on one board. Then that way we can all see what each other's are posting. So I'm just going to add you to this board.
It's done.
All right, I just sent you an invite for it, so you should get that.
Okay.
And you'll see I did, I added 3 ads myself. One is a Pepsi ad that's like an IV bag. One is a cheeseburger that has like a scary face in it. And one is a leaf that looks like a guy's abs in his chest. So if you don't see those 3 in the advertisement folder, then it's the wrong one. But you
How do
should.
I get an invite or something?
So up top on your Pinterest board, you've got like your little icon with your little bubble in it, right? Next to that should be a memo, and it should tell you that you have been invited to share on another board. Or it might just pop up in your feed too. I'm not sure.
Okay, I got it right now.
Yep. Okay. But then that way you guys can post right up in there too, and take a look. So Dawn, I'm just looking for my folder of pictures to share with you guys. You're gonna be picking one for the ad project today, so I'm just looking for those right now while you guys are doing some pins on the board. Okay.
Also, can you send the spec sheet over because I can't find it?
It's in your email.
Where in the email?
I sent it 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah, go back. Actually, if you search spec sheet, I think it probably will just pop up because it'll look for those words.
Alright, how do I do that?
Alright, I'm going to just pause my microphone for a minute while I find this. I'll be right back, okay? Oh, where did I put these folders?
God live with us in the valley.
I just saw the movie too. There they are. Perfect. Okay. You all right?
What the fuck is that?
What is that?
All right, I'll be right back. You can enjoy my picture. I'll be right back.
That is nonsense.
No, they're not the monkey figure. Okay.
How do I pin it to the board?
Just go, just save it to us.
Okay, thank you, honey.
Cause that's what
I don't see my hand there when I go there.
Where can you put this? Over here, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. If we can fit chair.
Pull it out. Pull it out. Slide out. All right.
Come over here. We can chill.
All right, I'm back. You like my monkey? Nobody likes my monkey? Ah.
The unexpected. Why you even had that picture?
Those are one of the images you can choose. Alright,
Seriously?
so remember that you're going to be building a concept for this brand. So obviously you don't know which company you're going to pick from. So we're kind of doing this backwards, which kind of makes it a little fun. So this is one of the images. I'm just going to scroll through them so everybody gets to see them all. And then if there's one that really speaks to you, tell me which one you want. And again, only one person can use one image. So you have to pick a different image if someone else chooses it. Okay? So here we go. So there's the monkey. There's my squirrel with his umbrella. There's the cat lifting weights.
Aw, that's cute.
And then this is like a beach shot. You're looking through like two houses. And there's a schooner ship. A cup of coffee that's steaming in a roasted beans. Some directional on the road. A very awkward dog.
Aw.
A donut with a bite out of it. Two baby ducks.
I want that.
You want this one? Alright, Robert.
So what are we trying to get from these images?
You have to pick one of these to work on with your ad. Okay. Alright, Don. He's one of my favorites. A tree house and a tree. A no hunting sign and a tire. A pinup girl.
Okay.
A pug. A train.
I can't watch you the pet just because of that face.
I know, it's cute, right? A skeleton holding a hairdryer. And a squirrel with a special nut. A treehouse, full treehouse. And a very colorful spinning wheel at an amusement park.
I
And
don't think that Ferris wheel is going super fast.
the Ferris wheel, I don't know how fast it's going, but it has lights on it, which makes it really cool. It's probably more the photography than it is the speed, right? Because you can open up your shutter and get that kind of thing. And then my frog, this last one.
Oh, frog.
All right, so Christian and Brandon, you guys need to choose. Dawn and Robert have already chosen, so does anybody want the frog? Okay, I'm just going to close him out because he's not in my list. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up. And if there's one that you like, let me know.
I kind of want either the frog or the pug.
I love Brandon.
I like the pug too. It's
Yeah, I did the pug.
I think this one or this one, I feel like you make that face a lot. Not like you look like a monkey, but like you're like, oh boy, what do we got to do now? Yes, exactly. But it's up to you.
I guess I can go with the pug.
Pug, okay. I don't know if Christian is still on here. He's at work, so he might have to leave. Let me just send him a message quick. I tried to find a variety of things so people could have different, angles or different directions. This actually works out really well for some companies. to do the pinup girl.
I was tempted with the pinup poster as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique thing. 'Cause it's not something that you see every day, right? So, all right. So Robert, you're doing the ducks. And Dawn, which one did you pick? I'm sorry.
The monkey you were just on.
This guy here. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll send those over to you so you guys have them. And this guy's really cute too. Now, all right. So here's the deal, right? You don't have to. I have a feeling Christian had to leave, but you don't have to. You know, if you picked an animal, it doesn't have to be for dog food or cat food. This could be for Cadbury Easter eggs, right? Like, think about where you can push the idea to. So this one, is there. It limits you though, because obviously you're talking about a cup of coffee, right? I mean, you have to, which is probably why a lot of people don't pick it. But some people are more literal than others. So if you chose this one with the cat, what would be some concepts that you could pull from this?
The gym.
The gym? Okay, that's pretty straightforward, right? That's a direct one. What else could you use?
Something about not having to be so hard.
That's awesome, Don. Yeah. So being more conceptual about it, obviously this cat is never going to lift this weight. And she's saying, like, life can be hard sometimes, but maybe it's not. Maybe we have a solution to your problem, right? So looking at it in a more conceptual base. So don't just take your photograph literally. Find a way to maybe transition it so that it does work for the concept of what you're building. Obviously, a headline can support this as well. And then your text is going to be that kind of third level support. This could be for an IT company, right? Because there's always challenges and things become overwhelming when you're trying to work with computers or technology. This could also be more general for pretty much any company today, in that, we've got this virus we're trying to get over, and it's hard, right? It's hard to get through everything. So that could also represent that. What about the squirrel? What would be a concept that you could come up with for the squirrel?
Sunshine, even when it's raining. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Place to walk in the park.
Yeah, maybe. How about just get outside? Enjoy the weather, right?
Yeah.
Go see Mother Nature. You never know what you'll find, right? I mean, just saying that alone, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I've never seen a squirrel holding an umbrella before. So maybe this is for, like, the National Parks Association, right?
Yeah.
You could do an ad for that. Or maybe it's, maybe it's for Travelers Insurance. We've got you covered, right?
Yeah.
So this is where you can kind of merge it and make it work for what you're thinking about. Don't just limit yourself. Now, the concept for the image, obviously, him holding the umbrella, it's hysterical because we're never going to see a squirrel hold an umbrella. If you chose to do this for Travelers Insurance, you could probably change the umbrella, right? So obviously, he's got the stem here. Travelers Insurance is typically a red umbrella. We could probably put a new top on this and make it red, right? This is where I'm not losing the concept of my image. I'm still keeping it solid. But I'm only using the parts that make sense to me. If I use this for travelers, I'd want to make it a red umbrella. And I can easily do that. I can go out and find a red umbrella. I can place this in. I can do some Photoshop work over the top of it. I may need to adjust the size or the length, but that would be pretty easy because the background is fairly blurry, so it would make it pretty nice to do. So I'm not changing the concept of the image, and that's what I was talking about on the project sheet. I'm just changing the image so that it works for the design that I want to do, right? I'm keeping the umbrella, I'm keeping the squirrel. None of that's changing. I do want you to realize that some of the images that I gave you, they are horizontal, which is really more common than vertical images, but yet you're going to be designing an 8x10 ad. So the reality in the end is that you have to make this work. So you're going to have to crop. You're going to have to modify, which is why I give this to you, because I want you to have to work a little bit harder for it. Or you may not use the image may not be the whole page. Maybe it's not, right? We do see a lot of ads that the image takes up the whole space, but it doesn't have to. So I want you to think about how can you use this image that you chose going forward within the design. And that's why if you need to drop it in and start playing around with it electronically this week rather than just doing some hand sketches, which you still can do. I mean, you can always do a quick few sketches just to get some ideas out of your head and then do them on the computer. But next week we should see at least 3 different directions that you went in with it, just to get an idea of how this can come together. And then, of course, you're downloading your logo as well. Whether you're using Seek Logo or Brands of the World, you want to make sure you're downloading that vector logo. So when I get into InDesign and I'm creating my new document, one of the things I have to be conscious of is that I need to make sure I'm putting a grid structure in there to use for my type. So I'm going to just set up my inches, and this is going to be an 8 by 10 ad. I'm going to do 1 page, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to just do 2 columns, and I'm going to do a wide gutter. All right, not that wide. That's really wide. Because I'm not going to ever have text really next to each other. There's not a lot of text in this. It's not a medical advertisement, so I don't need to. And I'm going to go ahead and put my bleed on just in case, because I probably will have a bleed, because we're going to be doing this where we'll be doing our mechanical at the end with our crop marks. And I probably am going to use an image that's going to bleed off the page. So if I do that and I bring all this in, it should look something like that. So now if I go ahead and I place my image in and just start thinking about what I can do with this. Hold on, I gotta go find my folder pictures. Oh, it's probably in downloads, that's why. There we are. So here's my little squirrel, right? And I place him in. Obviously, he's going to be much wider than tall. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, what can I do if I do a full height? You know, how much of him can I get? So clearly I would be losing a little bit, especially the umbrella, right? So I'd have to make this work because of size. And if I tuck it back in, then you can see a little bit better. So I'm just trying to show you guys what you might run into as you're working. But I don't know if that crop is so bad, right? Like, that's actually not too bad a crop. He looks okay, and he's, you know, I can still see a little bit of his tail. I can see the umbrella, but I could even swing him over a little bit, maybe get a little bit more of the squirrel. I might want to bring it down a little bit just so that I can get, not like that. Make sure I'm in my circle. I gotta be careful though, because I'm gonna lose that top, so maybe not. But that still gives me enough room to do a headline if I wanted to do something above. Are you still sleeping, Brandon?
No, I'm listening.
Good thing I'm recording this. Oh, I'm not in my Essentials Classic, so I need to get that up. There we go. Alright, so now I can come in and choose my font. Go with bold. Right, and it allows for me to start like playing around with this. Is this the best font? I don't know. I just picked it. You know, maybe I'm going to try a couple different fonts. Maybe I want to do a little bit of tracking.
Are we doing 3 different ads or just 3 different of the same one?
Yeah, so you've got one image that you're working with right now, and you're you're coming up with 3 different concepts for this. And that's why I'm just showing you the pieces and parts of this, right? So let's pretend that I'm doing this for the MoMA so I can place that logo in that I downloaded. Where did that go? Oh, I don't have it open yet. I gotta unlock it. Hold on.
I'm sorry, 3 concepts but 3 different ads, 3 different whole things, or 3 concepts with 1 ad?
So, okay, so when I say 3 concepts, that means it's a different idea for the same ad, right? So, like, let's just say, Dawn, that you, let's just say Kodak called you and said, we need a new ad for our new film processor. And you were like, great, okay. You'd want to go in with 3 different concepts to help develop, what it is that you're doing. So it's still the film processor. It's still Kodak. Maybe they supplied you an image of the film processor that you want to show, and you would want to do 3 different, pathways. How do I sell this? What are, maybe there's different headlines. Maybe there's a different way that you're treating the image. Maybe there's different text that you'd bring in. Obviously, the logo would be the same. So you would just have to find the right solution, right? The right pathway. There are a number of ads out there for like series that people have done, and that allows for everybody to kind of see what it is that they're doing. Can you guys hold on 1 second? Hey.
So I had to bring Dylan and a bunch of his friends because I'm like watching them for his parents. So we're all gonna go up with Ev to Henrietta.
Okay.
But I didn't know. Can I take your car? Because I
Yeah.
don't have enough room in mine for all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And
That's fine. Her card should be in there.
I don't have enough money to buy it.
No. Yeah. Obviously.
So which card do you want me to use?
Just use my Capital One card.
Okay.
It's the second pocket.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Alright.
But like I'm thinking like $350 for a tent. Like
Wait, how many people? You want like
I'm thinking like 5.
5 people?
Yeah. Like but sometimes people say that sometimes the 4 people tents are small.
Mm.
So it's got to be big enough that it works.
Yeah. Figure something out.
You know what I'm
If
saying?
I can't find anything, I'll let you know. But
Well, just send me a picture.
yeah.
And be like, this is what we found. I'll be like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Alright. See ya.
Yep. Sorry, it's a busy day today here. Okay, so you had asked me about concept, and I was downloading my logo. So let me just show you quick. Like, this would be my first process here. Come on, where'd you go? All right, so this was my logo. My maximum size that this can be, and I can check it up here, is 2.5 inches. So this works great, right? 2.3, that's under 2.5. And even then, that's a little big, but let's just say for now, right? So this would be my copy, and I'm just gonna dump some placeholder text in here, right? I'm required to do it at 11-point type and work with my column, right? So that's why I did my 2 columns there. So let's just assume that those are my 2 lines of text. And then this is my, come on. My call to action, right? So maybe it's going to be down on the bottom corner. So I'm going to just turn off my guides here for a second so you guys can see, and turn off those hide frame edges. All right, so this would be an example of here's an ad, right? So if you came into class next week with this, I'd be like, great, okay. And then let's take a look at your other two, right? So if I have two more options in here, I can just take all this stuff that I created, because I might not be changing too much of this, or maybe I will, right? So let's go to page 2. And I'm going to come up and do edit, paste in place. Not quite there yet. You have to make sure you're actually on the page or it doesn't paste in place. There we go. All right, so for this one, maybe I do want to scale it back a little bit and not have the whole image take up the whole space, right? So maybe I'm going to have more of the background. And I'm going to keep that top area more for headline. And instead of having the image be the hierarchical point, maybe I want to change the headline here too. Right? I can do something more connected to the MoMA, and maybe picking a font that plays around a little bit more with design. You know, so I'm just trying something new here. I'm doing something a little different than the first one, right? So maybe instead of doing it on a white background, because that seems to be really too intense, I'm going to just do a colored box at the top for my headline. And I'm going to come in and use my eyedropper tool. And maybe I'm going to pick a color right out of the image that I can fill that with. Go up to Object, Transform, Send to Back, and maybe do something like that instead, right? Or maybe it becomes a white headline. And it just plays around with it. We can also play with, maybe I want to do a drop shadow, right? Go into my effects. We talked about drop shadows a little bit ago. I'm going to add a little drop shadow to this. Just a little bit. You know, so these are the types of things that I'm looking for you guys to start playing around with, and what can you do, you know, to make this. Now, obviously, I'm stuck kind of with where this text can go because I'm working, whoops, that's the wrong grid. I'm working with my grid, so I want to make sure that I've got, you know, all my stuff in the right place. And if I put it like up in here, it's going to kind of, you know, break that image a little bit more than I want to. But I could change this up a little bit. I could make this a little bit bigger. And then slide this down so that the squirrel's just sitting at the bottom. That might give me a little bit more room at the top, and I could try maybe moving my text up top here. You know, so this is where I'm just kind of lurking in the distance here and seeing what works. All the pieces are there from my first, you know, placement. And now I'm just moving them around a little bit, right? So now it's a little bit different, right? So here's the first one. Here's my second one, right? I don't think I like this because it's not reading well, but, you know, again, you can try and place it somewhere else. And then I would do a third one. And maybe the third one, I don't use the full image at all again. Let's just make sure I'm on page 3. So maybe this time I shrink my box down a little bit here, play around with that, and maybe I only see, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger and just reposition, I think, a little bit. So do you see where I'm going with all this? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And maybe, you know, maybe I'm doing some stuff that's just a little bit different. Maybe my headline comes down. Maybe I bring my, you know, copy over there. Maybe I make my logo smaller on this one because it seems like it's taking up so much visual space there, right? So I'm aligning things here, so, here's my new ad, right? I know I literally just did that in 5 seconds and you're going to hate me, but, this is where the variation can happen. Sometimes it's going to be in that you're changing the visual direction. Sometimes it's going to be that you're changing the copy. Sometimes it's going to be about where you're positioning the logo or the call to action, right? So these are all things that you can do. And what I want you to do is kind of take inspiration in the resources that you're finding on Pinterest, so that way you have the ability to be able to go in and start playing around because you're like, oh, I really like how that looks. I'm wondering if I can do that with my layout too, So now I can look at these 3. Next week we can look at 3 of them and go, okay, you know what? Brandon, I really like this layout, but you had something on the first one that was cool. Can you take that and bring that down here? All right, so you're just kind of moving things around and just kind of looking for placement and what the right solution is for the design.
Alright.
Does this help you?
Yeah.
I'm going to send this as a PDF with the project sheet, this example that I just put together today, so that you guys have that as a mental note. This is what I can do, okay? To help you guys. Now, of course, if you do 4, I won't be mad. Right? But the idea is that I want you to have a pretty good solid direction by next week so that you can make any minor tweaks, changes. And then, of course, if you don't want to wait to submit that until the beginning of class the week after, feel free to get it to me as soon as you can. Right? I know you'll all wait to the beginning of class anyway. Because we're going to do the mechanical. Beginning class, we do the mechanical, and then you turn it in. We're done on the 29th. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions? Anything I did here that scared you? Go ahead, Brandon.
So we're just basing our design. We're basing these off of what we found.
So you can choose other images to use in connection with this if you want to, right? You can also, so if you decided to do this for Totes, who makes umbrellas, then I'd probably put their Totes umbrella on top of this guy, right? And figure out how to Photoshop that together. So yeah, you have to pick the company you want to work for, you want to do the branding for, and then you want to download the logo. So that should all be done this week. And then start playing around with your 3 concepts so you can bring those to class using the Pinterest board as your inspiration, right? So did anyone find any cool Pinterest stuff?
Well, I already have an idea because of the picture.
Yeah. What company are you thinking of?
McDonald's.
Okay.
Because of that one chicken nugget.
There you go.
When one nugget isn't enough.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, right? Oh, this is great, positive, negative space. Who found this one?
Me.
That's great, Robert.
I found that as well.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. I love it. And this goes back to, does anyone remember? In our Gestalt principles? Don, you haven't had me yet for intro, but we talk about Gestalt principles. Are you familiar with those?
No.
So Gestalt principles, there's a number of different principles. It was kind of like I'll give you like the quick top line. It was a series of psychiatrists or psychologists that got together back in the 1940s to kind of like evaluate how people processed information. And they came up with a series of principles that very much connect to design. And so one of the principles is called figure ground. And figure ground means that we see something in positive and negative space. So this is a prime example of that. And if you look at Salvador Dali's work, he actually does quite a bit of work with figure ground. Escher also does a ton of work with figure ground. because you're seeing things that would be normally in the background, but they're actually part of the foreground. So that's what you're looking at with figure ground. It's a pretty cool concept, and when you can develop a design that uses that, it's usually very successful. I like this too. This is cute with the onion rings. And this is great. I love Oreo ads. They always do such a good job with that. Oh, jeez. Dunkin' cookies since 1912. Where did it go? Of course, it takes me out there. I'm just going to point. And this is actually pretty cool too, Dawn.
Yeah, like
With this, with the sole of the shoe. The London Marathon. What a cool concept.
yeah.
So, this is where they took an idea and they translated it to make it work, right? And this cityscape could have been a picture that somebody was given, right? And they said, make this work. And this is what they came up with. So that's why when I say, take this image that I've given you, what can you do with it? Where can this go? Does it have to be what you actually see, right?
Yeah.
So think about what you can do with it and how you can modify it and make it work. All right, and then obviously you guys, figure that out and go from there. Any other good ones that I should be looking at? Sorry, my computer always gets kind of slow. Oh, this one's really good. With the cigarettes and the bars, that's great. Little figure ground in there too. Stop smoking and drinking. That's great.
Well, yeah, that's your boss.
Yeah, it's got a good message though, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, there you go. The non-smoking area. That's fantastic. See, sometimes the headline just says it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that image has nothing to do with smoking, right? We know that. But they've made it connect, and that's amazing. And you get it. There's no question. Everybody understands this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there was anything else anybody found. Oh, mobile ordering is here. That's cute. They make them look like little French fries.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Well, take a look at what people have found. Keep pinning, guys, and see if there's some stuff that will help you build and design, the style that you want to do for your ad. Do me a favor, look for some ads that maybe are not full images on the page. This is a great example of one, just to help people find some other resources, what they can do with their options with the images. Sorry, I'm recording, so this goes slow. But yeah, you guys found some good stuff. So keep it up. You'll notice there's a lot of stuff that's silhouetted, meaning that it's just the image on a background, right? So that is some stuff that you could do. So if I came into my squirrel ad, and maybe I don't want the background at all, I could just come in and silhouette the umbrella and the squirrel out. Might be a little bit of a challenge because of the tail. Or maybe I would crop it there, right? I could just totally crop this so that I don't have to silhouette, and maybe it's just this, right? Still get it as a squirrel. But you could crop it out and put him like in the middle of a city on top of a building, or, change his environment and do something different with that too. Maybe I could put him on top of the MoMA, or maybe he's sitting there holding his umbrella in front of the glass windows of the MoMA, right? That would be kind of cute.
Yeah.
So this is where you get to play around with it a little bit and see what works. I don't want to waste your time with me sitting here silhouetting, but if you guys haven't done that before, let me know and I'll send you a link to a great video on YouTube. And And it's pretty straightforward, but if you haven't used Photoshop a lot, then it would be helpful. All right. The water seems to be working. I'm feeling a little bit better. Still a little dizzy, but that's okay. Any questions that you guys have for me? No, everybody's quiet. All right, I will send you the images that you guys chose. I've got, let me just clarify here. I've got Robert has the ducks, Dawn has the monkey, Brandon has the pug, and I'll work with Christian to get his. And I'll send those over to you in an email with the project sheet and this example. Okay? All right. That's all I've got in me this morning. I think I'm going to go lay down. Thank you. Yeah, it's a weird feeling when you wake up dizzy. Yeah. I talked to someone the other day, they said they had a stomach bug, and I was like, oh yeah, I haven't had that in a long time. So maybe it's my turn. I don't know.
Away from each other.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I'm not really around anybody. But maybe I just ate something that didn't settle with me. I ate late last night, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. All right, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Use Kazala so that way everybody else knows what questions you're asking because they might have the same one. And we'll go from there. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Have fun doing your research this week and getting some ideas together. And I'll see you guys at 12:30 for production. Not you, Dawn, but Dawn, I'll see you next week. And Dawn, I haven't gotten any of your projects yet. I didn't know if you tried sending them over.
So I'm going to upload them by this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Bye.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you later.
Good day, everybody.
Thanks.
You too.
You too.
I'm gonna send you the 2 concepts that I have for the designer's prayer.
Okay, that'd be great, Robert. Do you want to throw them in Kazala so that Brandon can give you feedback too, or?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, perfect. Because if he can give you some feedback, or maybe there's some insight that he can gain from it too, that would be great.
Okay.
All right, I'll look forward to it.
All right.
All right, guys. See you later. Brandon, wake up. Go get your work done. Go get your work done.
Okay.
Bye.